Good evening, everybody. Eugene Bear here. It's Thursday evening, or is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday evening. I lose time. I'm retired. I've got my watch in my hands. I'm going to try to do a 6-minute teaching. I was reading in Revelation, and I read the first church, Ephesus, and the seventh church, Laodicea. What did they have in common? Here's the question. What did the Ephesus church on the far west coast of Turkey, Asia Minor, one of the capital cities of the Roman Empire of that day, around 40 to 50 AD onto 64 AD? And that is a critical date. And I made what they did have in common is cities in Asia Minor, 100 miles apart. If you went up the Lycus River to the Lycus River Valley, you would run into Laodicea first, Colossae second, a little further east, and then if you would go north, and I think they're within 10 to 20 miles of each other in this valley with the Lycus River, and Hierapolis was north of there with hot springs. Hierapolis is still inhabited today with hot springs in Turkey. People soak in the hot springs for their ailments. Now, the Saint Son Sisters will not be crazy about this, but this is a map, and the blue V here is Paul's territory. The green one is Peter's territory, and notice it goes up here, and the arrow goes way over to here, going east, down the Euphrates River. And if you read 1 Peter, all of these providences are in 1 Peter. Bithynia, Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Cappadocia. So you actually see the areas that Peter evangelized as far as land. You see the areas that Paul evangelized. Asia Minor, Greece, Corinth, Achaia. What was the other one I was looking for? I can't read it on the map. Cenchrea, which is near Corinth, and Rome. And when Paul died, way up here, the red arrow, Titus was going into Dalmatia, southeast Gaul or France, Europe. So now let's get back to trying to do a 6-minute teaching here. Laodicea, at the end of the first church mentioned in Revelation, which is Ephesians, all right, it reads, to him that conquers, and I'm reading Revised Standard 1952, to him that conquers, I will grant to eat of the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God. All right? And then at the tail end, and also says this, he who hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Same thing again. He that hath an ear in the Laodicean church, the seventh church, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Now before that, in 3:21, he who conquers, I will grant to sit with me in my throne, as I myself conquered and sat down with my Father in his throne. Throne is there twice for a true witness. If you've got throne, you have a king, and if you have a king, he has a kingdom, and his kingdom is heavenly or spiritually, not of this realm, not of this world. Now, what did Laodicea, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, have in common with Ephesians? The Ephesian letter is a circulation letter. In historic museums today in the Greek, we have Greek translations of the Ephesian letter. And in the Ephesian letter, the word Ephesus is not there. It's blank. Because any one of the 7 churches, Sardis, Thyatira, could get their name put in the Ephesian letter. And it's a circulation letter. it's copied, it's duplicated with different church names in it. And what the Laodicea had in common and Ephesus had in common, Tychicus, Paul's mailman, delivered the circulation letter to Laodicea. So Laodicean letter and the Ephesian letter are the one and the same letter. 100 miles apart, two churches got the same letter. And in Colossians, it instructs the Colossians, who got a condensed letter of 4 chapters, to read the Laodicean letter of 6 chapters, which is the Ephesian letter. So, the Ephesian letter, circulation letter, Laodicea got the Ephesian letter, and it's called the Laodicean letter. So today, 2,000 years later, we can read Colossians and the Laodicean letter together when we read Colossians and the Ephesian letter together, the circulation letter. Two churches 100 miles apart. The first church in Revelation, Ephesus, headquarters. The Gentiles were equal or outnumbered Jews 40 AD at Antioch in Syria. There's an Antioch of Pisidia. But Gentile church headquarters is Ephesus for the first 70 to 250 years, to 250 AD. The anointed, Christ-anointed church headquarters is Ephesus. 6 minutes and 40-some seconds. What else do I want to say? Let's end. So, every city in the Bible is important. Every person's name is important, greater than the cities. And every red letter that the Lord said in the Gospels, his teachings, are more important than Paul's. But Paul was selected after the cross. His job was to write. So when we read 2,000 years later, and there's a part 1, part 2 to Paul's 14 letters. There are 8 letters, part 1, and there is higher spiritual understanding in the last 6 letters of Paul that end with grace be. Can you find the 6 letters of Paul that end with grace be? 7 minutes and 39 seconds. It's an 8-minute teaching. I love you. Bernie Bear, Eugene Bear, spirit teacher, truth teacher. Ouch! A map, a city, a place where the Holy Spirit of truth was moving. Love you. Bye.